putting on my earbuds so I can hear you better.
Perfect. So we are live, and we're talking about Buckerheim and his theory about sixth dimension. And I'm talking specifically about a video that you did about his perception on UFOs. I will ask you please to make a small introduction about yourself and about how you enter into Heim dimensions, and to explain what was his perception on UFOs.
Okay, so thanks for the talk, Edith, and the invitation. So my name is Hannes. I was born and lived most of my life in Germany. Nowadays, I moved to Dubai in May this year, and I'm currently in Austria in between two trainings. So what I do I was trained and used to work as an engineer, but in fact, nowadays what I do for a living is I train people's intuition. So I connect them to the highest mental and spiritual realms and their highest emotional potential, and teach them how to interact with that, how to literally form a dialogue with the source of all knowledge itself. It's a highly enriching and emotional and joyful process. And what you came across me, and many people know me, at least in the German-speaking countries, is my presentation on the work of a hardly known physicist, a German physicist by the name of Burkhard Heim. He lived 1925 till 2001, and apart from an unusual biography, he was severely disabled physically. He conceived some very unusual theories as well of how the world is, of how the world actually is. I think he's actually the pinnacle of modern physics. As I said, not recognized, not widely known. That's something I'm working for. So he can be, so his theories will be taken into academic consideration one day. Yeah, in a nutshell, he derived a model of the world which has 6 dimensions. So 2 more on top of our usual 4. And within these additional 2 dimensions, we can allocate everything that we usually regard as not really graspable. Things like our psyche, our mental being, our soul, if you want. It gives within these transcendent dimensions. Actually, I'm using the word transcendent. It's a word he always used. It's where all these transcendent things are at home and real. They're actually real. Like in the physical sense, not something you can touch still, but they have the same level of reality as physical matter. And within these realms, yeah, as I say, you can allocate all the psychological phenomena, or the parapsychological phenomena, and also there is an answer of how interstellar travel works. That's one of the few, and that's only one of the few things that you can work on with this theory.
So how was his perception? Because he has the theory of interstellar traveling. So what was his theory on the lights or the interaction that most of the time is psychological? Because people says, "Oh, I see them," but I never heard of nobody that touch another being, not here on Earth. but yes, that they talk to them, or that they see them, or that they see lights, or that they see bodies of light talking to them. How did he explain, or the UFOs, the shape, the planes shaped in certain way?
Well, first, I have to contradict you that there has never been physical contact. In fact, there have been many witnesses who report just that. But let's stick to your question. Otherwise, the topic gets too wide. If you are a being which is able to manipulate its, let's say, its X5 level of its material body and of its material surroundings, then this being can extend the feeler like a tube or a hose through this six-dimensional world, which can reach into our realm of existence, the realm we regard as our usual environment, and can manifest itself as all kinds of things. One of these kinds of things may be the shapes that we recognize in so-called UFOs. And they may simply be light or translucent things, and they may manifest as nuts and bolts, as something you can physically touch and which leaves physical traces. And he was not convinced that the sender is actually that his own environment actually has these properties that we regard as normal. In our today's technological understanding and the way we used to think of crafts that would be able to space travel, we are thinking of metallic objects. Let's put it very generally. But maybe the reason why we are seeing metallic objects is simply because they want us to see them, and not only see them, but they want them to manifest with these very properties, which we can relate to in a part, at least partly, mentally and intellectually. So Heim went as far as saying they want to play tricks on us, or they want to fool us. Just see how they react if we are presenting something like that. Maybe maybe a motivation. So if you're a curious extraterrestrial from wherever, you may just appear as a UFO without ever leaving your home world, actually. But you can be at two places at once, and in the distant place, you may appear as something completely different than what you really are. That was Heim's idea.
I do believe it completely. I have one time I saw somebody in Argentina. They used to call it Saibaba because he can precipitate dirt, and I saw him like this far. Mm-hmm. So I know it was not a trick. So I know we have the power to manifest from the non-observed world or the fifth dimension. We can precipitate certain things. So can you think, knowing Heim dimensions, that maybe is us, maybe it's a different representation of another dimension of ourselves that is presenting to us as a light or as a being or as a can it be possible, or do you consider it in Heim's theory possible that it's just another a reflection of another whole of ourselves?
you must be careful not to narrow down your ideas too early, because there's such a wide range of phenomena known to parapsychology, so many categories and different ideas where it comes from. I was very careful not to nail it down too quickly. So no, I would say you can generate a definite answer from his theory. You can, maybe one interesting thing which is specific is on appearances of ghosts, because there is often a physical effect involved which is predicted, which Heim can genuinely predict from his theory. So classical ghost stories, they often come with the one detail that people are getting cold when the ghost appears. They get shudders, or they feel they feel like, it's getting, the environment is getting cold. And this is actually, in Heim's theory, he actually thought about if a shape should manifest, where is the energy coming from? Because manifesting of a shape means a lowering of entropy. And this means energy has to come from somewhere. And one possibility is that thermal energy is taken from the environment, and thus it gets cold. So my mentor, who was a close friend of Heim for many years, he always said, if he made a lot of research mostly in literature on ghost appearances, and he always said, if one would appear next to me, I would hope that I have my thermometer with me. I could measure the temperature or stick it into him.
To measure temperature. I mean, and that is, to me, it has to have something related to the appearance of UFOs, because UFOs usually are seen in lower temperatures, higher mountains, more than the northern and southern area where the temperatures are cold. And I never heard of appearances in hot weather, like in the desert.
I disagree. I disagree. They appear in all parts of the Earth. But now you mention it, yes, there are cases of UFOs where also people perceived it's getting colder when they appeared. But there are also it mixes up with reports of radiation and of vegetation being pressed down, etc. So it's not very it's not something you can nail down, this effect. But in the classical ghost stories, you can be definite on this lowering of entropy effect.
Okay, we've been talking for a long time, and you will be able to see the interview longer. But I know he has to go. He's been more than generous with your time. When or how do I make that you come to give us your method here in the U.S.? And that will be my last question. Is there any way? Do you have any idea that you can make your method here in the US anytime soon?
I'd love to. If you ask me of my schedule, well, end of the year maybe. So we need a few people, of course. So the costs are covered and it's worth my while. But I'd gladly travel to the US and get it to you. That's the whole purpose of the thing. It's about spreading a means of evolution and of happiness into the world. That's like the mission I've taken over from my teachers.
Exactly. Well, it was a great pleasure to meet you. It was more than an interesting conversation. and I will make it happen. I am a person that when I put myself into manifest something, I do it. So I want Hans Schmidt to come here to the US to be able to give us your 5 days introduction is the first phase of your method.
It is.
And give me just in a few words, what can I achieve with your method?
You can achieve to resolve a lot of personal issues. That's for starters. And you get whole new perspectives on what is possible for you. There are so many dormant abilities within yourself which you have either you didn't believe were possible, or you didn't dare approach. But suddenly, if you get into the right emotional potential, they are accessible, and you get a whole new level of self-consciousness about them. Plus, one of the side effects, let's put it this way, side effect is more emotional stability in your everyday life. And of course, if you continue to practice, that's one of the important things of a method. You don't need me. You need me to learn it, but you don't need me to continue practicing it, continuing doing it. If you continue doing it, you have like the perfect guidance, companions, counselors, whatever you want to describe it, to guide you through your life. And the method is absolutely designed to be used in everyday life for tiniest details. And that's what I'd be happy to teach.
Please. And I see in your page, I'm gonna put your page for everybody to follow your page. And so do you have any I think September 7 at 11 at Alchemy Coffee? Oh, that's in person. Do you have anything online that people can get an introduction of your method?
We can schedule an online presentation, so I can talk a little and people can ask me questions at any time.
That would be perfect. So people with you, Hans Schmidt, from his method Natal. I'm trying to pronounce it properly.
Natal.
And let's get together, Natal. Let's get together to have a lot of questions. We've been speaking for an hour and a half, and I have more questions, but this is a method that I think is what humanity is needed at this point. Humanity needs to rewire and recenter themselves, and it's only 5 days. When you told me it's only 5 days, I couldn't believe it. So
yeah,
it's just
it's 5 days. 5 days replace months and years of meditation.
Amazing. That's what I like. Quick and effective. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for getting back to me so fast.
Pleasure was mine.
That you are in the middle of your courses, and I promise you, 2026, no more than that, you will be here, and I'm going to be there, because I think this type of messages and this type of therapies has to be spread all over the world, because we need it here in the US. That's for sure.
I'll be there, I promise.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Edith.